I'm Lillian, like you said, and I'm a psychologist in Ghana. I don't have a license to practice here. So here I'm a student. So I've I worked in Ghana, specifically for Libu Teaching Hospital and Nyaho Medical Center until 2022 when I moved here to do my PhD. And I was adding that specifically my interest is with young adults.
Okay.
And so in my experience in the clinic, knowing that they mostly engage in risky behaviors, they engage in substance use, specifically alcohol. That is what best my interest in my whatever the project I'm doing now. So currently I am doing a project on decision making, alcohol use, and risky behaviors among young adults. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's about me.
Okay. Thank you. So today we want you to share with us your research. How did you get to start doing this research? People are confused about school applications. I get emails, I get people messaging me. How do I get to school? How do I get funding? So we want you to share with us. So we are going to start with, when did you decide to go to start searching for a school? How long that process? When did you start searching for a school?
Okay, so my friends and I had this. We joked with something in 2018 when we graduated that we are done with Ghana school. We want a different experience. So right before our graduation, we started looking for schools outside Ghana. I think most of the schools were in Australia, a few in the
Okay.
US, but we didn't have any good news. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So we didn't have any good news. There are some schools that will give you admission, no funding, and then some schools who will tell you, well, you are good, but we are sorry, we had a lot. So that was it. But I was still working, and life was still going on. And then at a point, honestly, I gave up. I was tired of having to write statements, proposals, and have this done. So I just decided in, I think, 2022, before the beginning of 2021, that I'm going to do my PhD in Ghana anyways and have my life going, because I can't keep hearing this news from them. So I applied to University of Ghana, and then I had admission. I think due to one or two issues like strike or something, so we had to start the PhD in January.
Okay.
So for me, that was it. I wasn't going to do any American or abroad school again. But I had a friend, one of our friends had come here in 2021. And then another was also in Eugene. So, we were good. So at a point, I think I was looking for funding for my PhD in Ghana. And then I met this mentor of mine, and he was like, do you think you really want to give up on this PhD in abroad? I think you should experience it. I think you should try it one more. I had it from my Reverend Minister. I had it from a mentor. I had it from a father figure. So I was like, why are you trying to? I've encouraged myself enough to settle that, okay, this is my country, I'm doing my PhD. Why are you people trying to talk me out of it? I'm already in it. So I think after one of our conversations, I called my friend here, and then I knew the course he was doing. And like I said, it was something that I had interest in, but I
Okay.
just wasn't interested again. So I think after those people, I'll call them destiny helpers, spoke to me. I called my friend and I said, hey, I don't know, but it looks like I have to try again, maybe one more time. And he said, okay, if you're interested, I'll send you the link. So he is in Texas Tech University.
Mhm.
And so he sent me the link, and then he said, okay, you can go through, see if you can find any of the faculty that you're interested with their projects. So I found this uh, professor he does executive function, like neuros kind of,
Mhm.
so how alcohol affects the brain and the decision
Okay.
making and risky behavior. So when I saw it, I was like, no, I like this. He said, okay, so you can go ahead and email him. And so I sent him a mail, and then he replied that, okay, Lillian, I've seen your CV. I see that you work in Ghana, but I haven't seen much of substance use and in your work area. I said, okay, I generalized it. So these are the cases, some of the cases I see, and these are the group of people I see, and this is where my interest is coming from. And he said, okay, you can put in an application and then we see how it goes. So that was what he said to me. And so I went back to my friend and I said, does that mean he's agreeing to supervise me or something? He said, well, I said you should put it in, so put it in and let. So he didn't say yes, he didn't say no. He said, so can you put it in and let's see. So I went ahead with the help of my friend. His name is Joshua.
Okay.
We went through, I will call him 1,000 times because there are things that it's written in English, but then I read and I don't understand it. So I will call him and then he made time for me. And with his help, I was able to pull through, do all the application, provide the necessary documentation. What I would say about that is that it's something that you have to make time for if you really want to do it, because it's not that straightforward. Like I said, it's English, but you read certain things and you don't even understand. So you have to make time. I was working full time, I was working part time, I was doing a PhD full time, and I was still applying for this school. So you can imagine
Yeah.
the hassle.
Yeah.
But knowing that, okay, I said I want to try it. I made time for it. So there are times that I'll be on my laptop for minutes, hours, reading back and forth, and then we're able to put in the application. Intermittently, they will ask you for some documents, they'll ask you for some information. One of the biggest challenge I know a lot of people face is getting people to referee them or like recommendation, yes. But fortunately, I didn't have that because my mentors were, Dr. Jifata refereed me, Dr. Dixon did,
Okay.
Dr. Kafuna, they didn't give me any stress. I'm grateful to them. So
Okay.
that wasn't difficult for me. So maybe sometimes you have to choose the right people to referee you who know you. It comes easily if they've worked with you before. So
Oh,
I put in all that in January and I was still doing my school in Ghana. So I think I didn't hear from them again until March. And to add, usually the application begins from somewhere in October and ends in December.
yeah.
I had missed that one,
Oh,
but so because I applied in January, but they gave like, um, it's like they reopened the application again. That is how
okay.
come I had the chance to. So it's never too late if God has it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
never too
I,
late.
yes, so I applied and then in March they called me, okay, we want to interview you. And then I went for the interview via Zoom, and then that was it. So I think 3 days later, 3 days after my interview, I had a mail from the professor in question that, well, he thinks he wants to work with me and all that. He gave me, I call it a love letter because it was a sweet message. So he gave me the love letter, and I had not seen the. Something funny happened. I had not seen the mail because I was sleeping, and then my friend called me and was like, "You've gained admission. You are sleeping." So I shouted. I didn't know what to do. I was happy, and now, that is one step. So he told me the school will give you an official
Admission.
notification admission, but I want to work with you. I agree to work with you. I said, okay, that's fine. So I had admission, and then I don't know if I've spoken too much, but that is how come I had the interest, and then how I went through the admission process.
Okay. So you settled on your school because somebody recommended that school to you.
Sure.
So you didn't have
Yeah.
that challenge of now searching for school, deciding which school to apply to.
You know, I mean, my friend did that job. I think he went through that stress, so I didn't have to go through it.
Okay. What were the eligibility criteria for your school, and did you meet all of them when you checked?
Okay. Okay. So you should have a master's in psychology or related
Okay.
program. And that was, I mean, that was the main thing. So you should have a master's, and also they needed your transcript from your school, and
Okay.
it shouldn't be anything below, I mean, for your first degree, it shouldn't be anything below 3.0.
Mm-hmm.
And you needed a recommendation as well, and also declare what your interests were there. At the time, GRE was waived, so I didn't have to write a GRE. And Ghana was part of the countries that they didn't really require any English
English
proficiency.
language. No,
So
we
these were the
don't.
requirements, and then I met all the requirements.
Okay. Okay. Did you apply to any other schools apart from your school?
So at that time, no. In
Okay.
2022, it was Texas Tech only. But like
Wow.
I said before, I had applied to 1,000 schools without. Yeah.
That's good. Anyway, what did it come with funding? Did you know
Yes.
you would be funded?
Yes. So I mean, like I said, for me, I had a lot of information because I have a friend. We are very good friends. I mean, at a point where we are more like siblings than friends. Yes. So I mean, I don't know if we spoke about funding, but I knew. I mean, when he had his admission and he was going, I knew he had some funding. So I knew it. I mean, I didn't know it was automatic. So I remember in my interview, I asked them, "Are you going to give me funding?" And they said yes. So they told me the categories of fundings that they have, and so and any student can receive any of them once you have admission. Yeah, so I have funding for my program.
So when your admission letter came, it
Mhm.
came with funding, and you could see it's written in there that you are
Yes,
going to
yes, yes.
be
So
tuition waiver.
yes, they stated that. So they gave me a job as a teaching assistant, and also they gave me a fellowship for 3 years. My program is 3 years. It's, I mean, it's compressed. It's 3 years. So
Yeah.
not funny, but I mean, it's
You'll
three
be
years.
done soon.
Yes. So they stated they are giving me a fellowship for 3 years, and I had a TA that came with in-state waivers. So it took
Okay.
a chunk of the fees away, and then my fellowship was able to pay the rest. So I didn't have to pay any fees.
Wow, wow. That's
The
amazing.
part that I didn't like is the visa application process and
Tell us
getting
about
paid.
it.
Yeah, so I mean, after I have admission, I have to start. So again, being guided by my friend, he said, "Okay, let's put it in." So I had my admission in April, and then I had to. I mean, what's the name of that form we buy from GT Bank? I've forgotten. But I bought. Yeah, so I bought the form, and then I had to go.
Yes,
Yeah,
160.
I had to fill my DS 160, but I needed the receipt. I needed to pay, so like visa application fee.
Yeah.
So I paid it, and then I went on to fill my DS 160, and now I have to search for a date.
Okay.
So I started this in April. No show. There was no date, and then in May. I think a day after my birthday, actually. Again, I was there. And then my friend called me that, hey, there is the. I didn't know how he was doing all this because he was in school. He had lost his mom. A lot was going on for him, but he was still looking out for me. And
Wow.
so he said, okay, there's a date, so check. So when I checked, it was August 2023, and then I chose that date.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had to now wait until I think um, it's some time to the school reopening, and then I can apply for expedited dates. So I applied that. I think some 2 weeks after I got this date, I could apply for expedited appointment, and then I did that, and they gave me the opportunity. Okay, you can do it, but I still had to search for dates, and I'll wake up at night. I get links to people to help me. It wasn't, I mean, anytime you go in, there's no date. I
Yeah.
remember asking my friend, am I actually looking for a visa to heaven? I asked that. Like, what? So I think in June, so I was going to, I mean, to my part-time job, and I spoke to Rita. I mean, Rita, our friend from Kolibuda. Hey, you need to pray. I need to get a date today. And she said, okay, go. I'll be praying so you get a date. So when I got to the parking lot of where I work as my part-time place, I just took my phone, opened it, and there was a date indeed.
Wow.
Yes, so I had 21st of June, and then that was my interview early morning. So it was stressful, but I mean, you don't have any choice if you really want to. So
Yeah. So tell us, what kind of questions were you asked at the interview?
okay, so I mean the usual, where are you going? As if they don't know it's US because it's a US embassy. So the usual, where are you going? So, and then what for? So I told them I'm going to Texas Tech University, and then what are you going to do? And then I answered that, well, I'm going to do a PhD. So my PhD is in psychology, I mean, a specialization in addiction science. So I told her, she was like, what's that? Can you tell me about it? So I told her, and then she's like, do you have a degree already? I said, yes. So he took my transcripts and then gave them back to me. And she asked, okay, what would I be doing after the program? So I
Mm-hmm.
told him, obviously, I'll come back to Ghana and then, you know, do. So my focus then was the addictive disorders unit in Kolebu. That was what I used. And she was like, okay, are you a psychologist? I said, yes. So she asked me, what do I do? So I explained to her what my duties are. And then
Wow.
she said, okay, yeah. So she asked me again, how is this course related to what I do currently? I
Mm-hmm.
told her, well, like I said, I see young people, I have seen this problem, and I think I want to investigate into it to see what are the nuances in their decision making and how the substance use, specifically alcohol, play a role. Because if they engage in risky sex, their life is at risky sex, risky driving, and everything, their life is at stake. She was like, okay, so then I think she asked about family. I mean, she wanted to know my ties. I
One
remember
time.
she asking me, are you married? I said no. And then she asked again, are you married? I said no, I am not married. So I didn't know what, I mean, to expect at that point. And she said, okay, your visa is approved. That was it.
And I know you were very, very happy. You were excited
Yes, sure.
when
I
that data
mean,
was
yes,
approved. Yeah.
yes, I
First
was.
time attending an
Yeah,
interview, getting an approval. It's
yeah,
not very easy.
yeah. And I
And
was
you
happy.
answered your questions well. You proved home ties. You connected the course to what you were doing back home and the fact that you want to finish and go and help back home. So tell
Obviously.
us accommodation. So we've spoken about getting admission. Now you are in school. How did you
Okay.
come by accommodation? Because I get people complaining all the time. They got funding, they got all that, but where to sleep? Because you have to work for a month before that stipend will start coming.
Okay.
So how do you sort yourself out as a new student abroad?
Okay, so again, you see, one thing that you should be blessed if you have is having someone there already. It really helps.
Mhm.
So for me, I think it took away a chunk of the stress, because I remember my friend telling me, if you get a visa, I'll look for accommodation for you. If you get a visa. So I was there just after the visa. He just told me, hey, I found a room, and that was it.
Wow.
So
Mhm.
I didn't have to do a lot. He took care of the things that I mean needed to be taken care of here. And then I had to fill, their long listing forms and everything. So I had to fill all that form and do my part. But in terms of looking for the accommodation, it was my friend.
Okay. I was asking because where I am in Philly, when I was looking for accommodation, I needed pay stubs. I needed to show that I have worked. And that
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I couldn't get accommodation because in some places, because I didn't have a pay stub here. They
Okay.
also have to check my credit score,
Okay.
sign somebody else to sign
Yeah.
against your name that you would pay. So these are things people have to think about when
Okay.
looking for accommodation abroad.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I needed like somebody to co-sign as well.
Okay.
So my brother did that for me because he was here already. So that
Okay.
was done. But I think for here, their main interest is if you have an employment, if there's a proof that you have an employment, then
They are
that
okay.
that will take care of the rest. So
Okay.
since I had that offer as a teaching assistant, I that took care of the other stress.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any advice for students who are applying for school right now? What would you tell them? What are the things that helped you in this whole process?
Okay, so like I've said throughout this interview, if you know someone, it's a good thing, but you wouldn't also rely on them 100% because it's you. It's a program that you are going to do. My friend didn't impose anything on me. I'm doing the same course like he's doing, but he didn't impose. He just shared a link to me, and I did the reading myself, and I made a decision myself. So what I would say is that yes, having people around is good, but you should take the responsibility for yourself to read whatever you want to do, understand. You see, there are 1,000 courses here, and you should find out sometimes some of the courses it's I mean it's welcoming, but the funding is not good, and even the prospects. I mean, every job has its prospect, but maybe for you, because when you finish you need to work, and sometimes getting some companies to file for you if you want to stay here. So you have to consider all those things and be sure that this is what you want to do. I always say that it is stressful, Stella, it's not stress free. What keeps us going is the motivation and the interest you have in the program. So do
Yeah.
not choose any program you are not interested in because you want to study abroad. That will break
Yeah.
you. I mean, you should have the interest so that when you get annoyed, your interest still gets you going. And so that is what I will say. Yeah, if
Okay.
somebody wants to apply.
Okay. Have you had any regrets?
Well, no, but I honestly, I'm trying to be honest and frank here. When I came in the first few months, I kept asking myself, did I make a mistake? And even yesterday, I was telling a friend that I think when you are younger and then you do school abroad is
It's
good.
better. It's
When you are
better.
as old as some of us
It's
are,
hard.
you've had your life going on, you've had the kind of the things that make you happy and everything. So adjustment is not easy. You have the excitement of going to school in America, Canada, or wherever. But when you get in, so when I got in here, I mean, as a new student, I don't have a car, and I had to rely on people to help me. The Ghanaians here, they are so lovely. If you call them, they will help you. But sometimes you even feel like you don't want to keep doing that. So the
Mm-hmm.
first few months, I kept asking myself, did I make a mistake for living my life back home and kind of feel like coming to start all over? But then as I kept going on and learning what I'm learning, I felt like, well, it was worth it. And I mean, I think it was just an adjustment issue, which was expected at the beginning of it. But I
Yeah.
haven't had any regret of being here so far.
Okay. Okay. I've not seen any questions yet, unless I don't know. I haven't seen any questions. We've been talking to Lillian Ohene. She's in Texas, and she's also a clinical psychologist from Ghana, but she's pursuing a PhD program in addiction specialization over here, fully funded PhD program. And she got a link from a friend. Like we keep sharing links, we keep sharing scholarship opportunities on pages. Somebody shared a link with her. She liked it. She followed up and just applied. You share links online, people will still come to your DM and say, help me. And I'm wondering, what help do you need? You have to take steps, preparing your SOP, preparing your CV, and just apply. And that's what people are not willing to do. about depending on people. When you came here, can you share with us how is the culture like over here about doing things for yourself? If you can talk about that briefly before we end the session.
Okay, yeah. So it's different. In Ghana, three students can stay in one room and it's fine. But here they have this rule. I don't know. I don't know if it's a Texas rule or I think it's general that you
Yeah,
don't have three hats in a room.
yeah.
So it can't be two people, three people in a room. And then if it's a 2 by 2, you should be alone. So you can't go and stay with your friend. And sometimes coming from the culture that we come from, it should be easy, but it's not. So you have to be prepared to take care of yourself. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, here we are, as of last year, we were like 60 students, 60 Ghanaian students
Wow.
who are connected. We are very connected. Even today at 3, we have a Ghana student meeting.
Nice.
And those who have been here earlier have been helpful.
Mm.
They have. Because they'll pick you from the airport, they'll take you to grocery
Wow.
shops, they'll help you. And sometimes even if you want to do it for yourself, they are there. So it feels like you're being ungrateful. So in terms of having people to rely on for a Ghanaian team is good. People around here, even other foreign students, are very helpful.
Mhm.
But the issue is that so when school reopens and everybody is in their, in there, nobody has time to do anything.
Yeah.
So you have to have the mind of helping yourself so that when you ask for help, it comes easily. So that is how it has to be. And then also, money is involved. You can't have all the money in the world before you do it. You do it systematically, and then God will help you. I believe God did it, so I'll mention God
Mm.
anyways. Yeah, God will help you. But a lot of responsibilities come from you. So you have to be there for yourself. You have to help. You have to live within your means. There are different forms of accommodations, whatever is suitable for you, depending on your funding, is what I would suggest you go for. Because the accommodations are all good, just that there are some that you have 4 in a room, 3 in a room, 2 in a room, and then living by yourself. It's easy for you to say I want to live by myself if you're coming from Ghana because you're an adult, you have your life, but it's expensive. So you have to just look at what works for you and then go by it. And then, gradually you'll be there. So,
For Texas, about how much does it cost for one bedroom? Here in Philly, one bedroom you should budget for like $1,000. Minimum will be $800 for a
I,
one bedroom.
okay.
I don't know
So
for Texas.
I think here, Lubbock is very affordable.
Okay.
The city is Lubbock is very affordable, but a one bedroom will go for like 900 and
Mm.
above. Yes.
So it's similar.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go for a $600, $500 apartment, then you are not going to
Sure.
like the area. You are not going to be happy where you find yourself, and safety and all that becomes an issue.
Yeah.
So a lot of money is involved. So even though they give you funding, you end up using the money to pay for accommodation, to pay
Yeah.
for transport, to buy
Yeah.
groceries and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when students are abroad, it's not a money making opportunity.
Like,
No, it's not money. But if you budget and you plan well, you would be okay. I
sure.
think so.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Lillian, thank you very much for making for us.
My pleasure.
We
I
don't
have
have any questions. Oh gosh, who is calling?
It's Sunday. Family needs you.
Let me round up this session. Let's round up this session. Thank you so much for sharing with us your journey onto your PhD program. And I hope people will watch this. I'll upload this on the YouTube page and also leave it on the Facebook page so you can watch and share with your friends, so they can take some ideas and also plan their life. hopefully, God willing, next week we'll have another live session, and I'll share on the Facebook page what we'll be talking about in our next session. So thank you, everybody who made time to join us. Thank you,
Thank
Lillian.
you, Stella. You're doing a good job. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.